Hello, and welcome to Building Leadership Community Podcast. I'm your host, Dora Mendez. I am the founder and CEO of Coach Dora LLC. Our guests will be entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community leaders that drive social impact. It can be lonely at the top, but it doesn't have to be. Welcome back, leaders. Welcome to the Building Leadership Community Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Dora Mendez, and today we have an incredibly special episode, our Season 2 finale. Before we dive in, a huge thanks to all of you, our amazing listeners and viewers. We've been fortunate to grow our community on YouTube and all of the audio platforms. We just hit 12,000 views on YouTube to date. Your support truly fuels our mission. And if you're new to the show, welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, please take a moment right now to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button so you can be notified when new episodes drop. Subscribe to our channel. It helps us reach even more future leaders. To wrap up this season, I'm thrilled to introduce you to the team who inspires my own leadership journey every single day. My husband and our podcast producer, Mendez-Rogers, and our two incredible children, Naomi and Mateo. Today, we're exploring leadership right where it matters, at home. So let's dive in. All right, family. Thank you all for joining Mom in the studio. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? All right. So I'm going to do something very different. We're going to do something for the first time. Our children have been wanting to be part of the show. They usually work behind the scenes, but they are very excited. They are going to join our program.
So, Mateo, I'm going to start with your first question. How do you lead? I lead by playing fair on each team. And what team is that? My soccer team. And if they fail, just I say this. Just remember this. First attempt in learning. Good job. That's what fail stands for. Now, what makes it a good lead versus a bad one when you're playing with friends? We end up working it out when we are in an argument or something. We always end up working it out. I just go up, tell them whose ball is it, because they keep fighting like, it's our ball. And I'm telling them, like, it's that team's ball, not ours. Good job. So you play fair? Yeah, I like to play fair a lot. Now, what kind of leader do you want to be when you're older? I still want to be a soccer player. What questions do you have for me? What questions did I have for you? Yeah, what questions? What do you think about leadership? Ooh, what do I think about leadership? I think, what do I think of leadership? When you say leadership, I think about mom and you and dad, and it's like a thing. It's not really like a thing you do. It's like the way you do it. Like if you had a team captain, they were like the leader, right? And so they would lead the team. But you could also have like a goalie or a player leading the team by like helping guard the soccer ball or like not helping to not get it in the goal. So a leader doesn't have to be an actual leader. You can you can be like the boss, and like people will say like you're the leader, but there could be an employee who leads the team better than the boss, and everyone's a leader. That's what you think about leadership? Yep. What do you think about Mom's show? Mom's show? I like the show because I like hearing the voices in the car. It's fun, and I like hearing my Abuela's voice, and I like hearing Teacher Rocio's voice, and it's purple. So yeah. What kind of leadership do you want to be when you're older, though? What leader do I want to be when I'm older? I want to be fair, and I want to like keep things happy. And what do you think about the podcast, Mateo? I like seeing new people's faces. Some people that mom knows, but I don't know personally. And I like it when I get to see new faces, and I get to see faces that I already know. Like I get to see Dad, Abuela, Titi Rocio. Oh, and Titi Ella. Titi Ella. And I also like how they talk about leadership, and I also like videos with me in it. What What's your favorite part about the podcast and Mom's channel and Mom's business? That's hard. I like all of them. I like the purple. If I had to choose one, I just can't. I would just go like, bye bye.
Okay, we're back. I can't believe it. Our children are were so excited about being on the show, and they had interesting questions for each other, and interesting answers. So we're back, and so we wanted to share a little bit more behind the scenes of Building Leadership Community podcasts. It was nice to hear that our children enjoy the show. We listen to it a lot in the car. So that's and we actually have interviewed a lot of family this season, and so they mentioned my mother, Abuela, um, and she kicked off season 1 and season 2. And she will definitely be kicking off season 3. I'm gonna share a little bit more about, season 3 preview later on. Um, they mentioned Titi Ella, which is my aunt, their grand aunt. And instead of Abuela, she likes to be called Ella. So she's Titi Ella to them, and that's Carmen. She did a wonderful episode. She was our raffle winner. She actually won in the raffle a slot to be a guest, and she spoke beautifully about her culture shock as an immigrant coming to the United States from the Dominican Republic, and she shared her leadership story. Um, she's an amazing leader and led an extraordinary life as an recreational therapist, an artist, dancer, martial artist, and she really heals through dance therapy. And it was just a really great episode. We're really proud of her. And then they mentioned Titi Rocio, which was the last episode of the season, full episode of the season, which is my sister Rocio Mendez, who's a fight and intimacy director for the theater. And they liked listening to their family members, and it was really great to hear their perspective on leadership. And I'm really proud of the both of them. And so um, I want to bring on my co producer, who many of you, if you listen to the show, if you watch the show, you know was my husband, Dylan Rogers. As the producer who has absorbed every conversation, every insight from our season 2 guests. the founders, the entrepreneurs, the community builders. Um, I'd love to bring him to the stage and ask him, like, what were two or three major themes or words of wisdom that really stood out to him. So let's welcome. Hi, honey. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
I want to. I appreciate you coming from behind the scenes to in front of the camera. I know that's not always so easy for you. You're making sure you got your shirt on.
hmm
You're looking very handsome, honey.
Thanks. You
For
look beautiful.
the thank you, honey. For the listeners, were my family and I were all wearing our t-shirts, Code Store t-shirts. We have like a uniform for the show. If you listen, if you watch, you'll notice we all have our Coach Dora t-shirts on. But if you're listening, we're all wearing our t-shirts. All right, honey. So, yeah, so the my question was for you is as the producer, you get to listen to all of the episodes, you edit them, and I'd love for you to share sort of what stood out to you and what themes stood out for you in season 2.
That's a great question, Dora. I'm glad we have the time to dig into that. Empathy and vulnerability as a theme. Many of our guests talked about the shift from old, rigid styles of leadership to one that embraces vulnerability. It's not a weakness, and it's a way to build trust. They emphasize that true connection comes when leaders show up as their whole selves. And I see the results of that every time a guest shares personal feedback and how they overcame it. Um, it makes their advice so much more powerful.
So when they share a story of a personal setback, or
Yeah,
when something didn't quite work out how they thought, but they shared how they overcame it.
right. And the power of the pivot. We interviewed a lot of folks this season. A common thread was the ability to pivot. And it's not about being attached to one way of doing things. It's about being flexible and having the courage to change direction based on new information. It's leadership through continuous learning, which is very important. That's a lesson we try to teach our children, right?
Yes.
Um, it's okay to change your mind if you learn something new. And also community first leadership. This is the core of our podcast title. Um, I was inspired by how many leaders prioritize their community over profit and personal gain. They see their business as a vehicle for positive impact. And it's the kind of holistic leadership that views success not just through numbers, but through well being of the people they serve.
That is beautifully summarized, honey. So, um, thank you for the behind the scenes perspective. Those themes truly represent the heart of season 2.
And can I add one more thing?
Sure.
I was very encouraged and inspired when we had Gillian on the podcast, how
That
she
was
talked about how podcasts are like the new website, like that we're kind of ahead of the curve there. That's good.
so our guest, our second, I think she was our second guest, Gillian Smith, Gasm Brands. She's also a brand strategist like yourself. And yeah, she shared that podcasts are the new website. And that so that was very encouraging for us, and she was so supportive. She was literally one of the first people to watch our premiere episode. She texted me listening to it as it premiered and she was listening to it and was texting me, and she was just so encouraging. I was so happy to have her on the show. Every I think every guest this season we were very fortunate to have a personal connection to. Bora, who was our Bora Lee, the chief of staff of Fifth Avenue Committee. She was just so wonderful. Uh, being a leader at a nonprofit organization that provides services here in Brooklyn, New York. Allison Martin, the founder of Engage Mentoring. We have really become friends through the years. We it's so interesting how we connected. When a couple of years ago, one of her salespeople was pitching me, and then somehow I got recruited to partner with them, and now I partner with Engage Mentoring. Our missions align, and her story was amazing, from teen mom to founder. I mean, her story was great. Her journey was amazing. They all were, all of our stories. Stephanie Martinez talking about being a leader through uh, her introvert, like being a leader, not in spite of it, but just leadership in a different way. She made me think about Brene Brown, because she considers herself a introvert. We even had a surprising guest, someone I didn't know that well, that I connected with on LinkedIn, who works for Speaker Hub. We connected through the public speaking part of Coach Dora business, and she's a former basketball player, a former coach, and I loved her perspective on community and how people lead in different ways, and just reinforce risk taking. And
Angela R. Lewis.
that's right, Angela R. Lewis. Her episode was amazing. She talked about her family growing up. She talked about her career in sports, and how that really prepared her to take risks and be a leader. And she, I really, her story was really impactful. So we had a professional basketball player on the show, which was really amazing. We had just such a really diverse group of leaders. We had Priscilla Guaso, who uh, leads Latinas Rising Up in HR. And I was connected through Priscilla because of my career in HR. We were connected, and the opportunity for authorship came up in volume 3 of their anthology, collecting stories from Latina HR leaders. Her story was really amazing, and she shared all the lessons she learned in corporate hospitality doing HR, and how she then pivoted in her career. And she's an amazing leader. And I'm just so grateful for her support in Latinas Rising Up in HR.
And we had another Dora.
Oh, that's right. Every season we had a Dora. So the first season we had Dora Lutz from Indiana, and she's in the ESG, in the environmental, socially responsible business world. And then this season we had Dora Jones, who was she described herself as a HR double agent.
Hmm.
She works in talent acquisition, and then she helps people get jobs, and then she hires people to jobs. So she does both things. And her story was very inspiring as well, how she helps people, and her passion for talent acquisition really was genuine and really came through. Her leadership story was really amazing. It mirrored mine in a bit. Um, Oh, we
Heidi
had
Roma.
Heidi.
Heidi Roma.
Heidi, that's right. Oh my goodness. Heidi and Ola Books. Another entrepreneur, fellow entrepreneur. She launched her business, her episode premiere right like a week before her business officially launched, was amazing way to support it. Ola Books.
Mhm.
Um, And she's also been a wonderful support, and her entrepreneurship and her story, her how the challenges of entrepreneurship and starting your own business is one that I definitely could relate to. And so we had such an amazing season, and then we also had Lori Barcelona.
Right.
Lori shared her interesting trilingual background
Hmm.
as a executive director of an organization that helps uh, children with and their families with intellectual disabilities, children on the autism spectrum, and supports their families. They have an amazing parent center there. So I was so happy to showcase her leadership story and the amazing work that Synergia Inc. does. Synergia being synergy. Synergia is Spanish for synergy because they bring the family, the children, the parents, and the systems together to support the child through their lifespan, live
Yeah.
independently. So I just loved hearing her story. And then, of course, my sister,
Hmm.
Rocio Mendez,
Hmm.
uh, who she's the first sort of actor that we've had on the show, and she shared her trajectory as an actor going into fight and intimacy direction. And I just found it fascinating. I found her story so fascinating. It kind of like really pulled back the curtain on what happens behind the scenes in theater and safety and how she inserts herself into these projects to help the storyteller and helps everyone be safe. So is that everyone, honey? Did
And of
we
course, we opened this season with your mother.
That's right. And we're going so that's a great lead in, honey.
Right.
Do you have any last thoughts before I wrap up the episode and tee up the preview for season 3?
I just found all 12 of our guests to be incredibly inspiring, and I look forward to seeing what season 3 holds.
Um I want to mention, I guess we should plug what you're doing, honey, with podcasting. So do you want to talk about these 2 seasons? You get a lot of feedback because you also talk to the guests to schedule as the producer. You reach out to the guests to prep them and schedule their recording times. And we get so many compliments about your work. And so many of them ask us about how we started the podcast. And almost everyone enjoys the experience. And we do like a post episode debrief. And
Right.
we've even had folks tell us, I got a like podcast kit and it's collecting dust.
Hmm.
And
Right.
so we decided to share what we know. So do you want to
Right.
talk a little bit about
Sure.
what you created to help other entrepreneurs and leaders podcasts?
Right. We created a mini course so you can ease into podcasting and take the mini course called the Entrepreneur's Podcast Blueprint. It's on Dora's website, coachdoramendez.com. And you can click on courses and find it there. For only $99, you get 5 video modules, a guidebook that you can download and takes you through every detail. You can start on a very, very slim budget and get your platform out there, and also bring in people that you want to do business with and have them as your podcast guests.
And what else do they get with the course?
You get a downloadable set of AI prompts that you can use to transform your podcast episode transcript into all the communications you need to release a podcast, so that you're not spending 4 hours writing descriptions and social media posts that can take a long time. It can be very exhausting. So you can just instantly turn your transcript into all of those things that you need in order to release your episode. And also, for a limited time, you can get a free consultation with me. We'll talk one-on-one about getting you all set up.
And so, in addition to the mini course, the entrepreneur podcast blueprint, for you're also willing to take on 2 to 3 clients. So whoever gets to, if you take the course and you still feel like you need some support, you could reach out to Dylan. He'll be happy to do a all-in-one service for you and help you produce your podcast, whether it's just audio and video. So we can do both. We could help do both. And we learned a lot from our experience, and so we're sharing what we've learned. And we made a lot of mistakes, but we figured it out. That first season, we didn't know what we were doing, but now we're here at the end of season 2, and at 12,000 views on YouTube as of the recording of this, and growing. And that's just on YouTube. We've also grown an audience on the audio platforms, on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, which is my favorite one because it's free. Amazon Music, you can find us. And
Even Audible.
Substack. Yeah, Audible, Substack. So everywhere you get your podcasts, you can find us. And we have an abundance mindset here. We believe that everyone can find every leader deserves a bigger platform, and we think podcasting is that way. And we're happy to share what we learned with everyone, including tips on equipment. You'll find a checklist there in the workbook. In the guidebook, we have everything for you. So from A to Z, including like what kind of show you want to create. So honey, I know I let you go. Unless you have any other final thoughts that you want to share before I tee up, uh, give a preview to season 3.
Well, thank you for having me. And we are looking forward to season 3. We're going to have a lot of, Dora's going to tell you all about it. I don't want to spoil it, but she's going to give you a little preview.
All right, honey. I know. Thanks again for coming in from behind the scenes to in front of the camera. And I will see you momentarily. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. To all our listeners and viewers, we really do appreciate you. This family episode, behind the seat episode of Building Leadership Community. While we're going on hiatus for a very short time, uh, we want to remind you that every episode of season 1 and season 2 are out now. You can listen to us on every platform. We just shared that you can listen to us on every platform, or you can watch us on our YouTube channel at Coach Dora M. Leadership is a continuous act of humility. Always be learning, always be open to new ideas, and always remember that your job is to serve those you lead. We have time for just a brief uh, preview of season 3. I'm over the moon. So people are finding us. So next season we are going to have more guests. It's going to be bigger and more diverse than ever. We will continue to interview amazing women founders, entrepreneurs, and community leaders. Next season will also feature incredible men who are allies in the leadership space, including leaders in HR, PR, and an entrepreneur who helps inventors make their ideas a reality. We'll have our first team interview, and our women leaders are in a broader scope of industries, including tech and philanthropy, and will feature a change making educator transforming the lives of underrepresented youth. Get ready for powerful conversations. To all our listeners, thank you for joining us for another empowering season. It's been an honor. Until we return, remember leadership isn't a title, it's an action. Lead with empathy, embrace resilience, and always strive to make a positive difference. This is Coach Dora signing off. Get out there and lead. Thank you, everyone. You've been listening to Building Leadership Community. Watch on YouTube at Coach Dora and listen wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube at Coach Dora and visit me on the web at CoachDoraMendez.com. Hosted by me, Dora Mendez. Produced by Dora Mendez and Mendez-Rogers. Graphics, editing, and sound mixing by Mendez-Rogers.